Hello Mzansi, you're listening to Farmers Inside Track, proudly brought to you by Food for Mzansi. Officially, this is the world's best podcast for 2024, as awarded by WAN EFRA, the global organization for the world's press. I am your host, Patricia Tembo. Welcome to episode 464. Today we're discussing pig farming and breeding management that can be applied to make a business more profitable. This episode is set to be both informative and practical as we welcome seasoned pig farmer Roland Trout.
Hello, Roland Trout. Thank you so much for joining us on Farmers Inside Track. We are very excited to speak to you about pig farming today and how one can make it more profitable, especially when you look at breeding.
Thank you for inviting me to your podcast because there is some stuff that needs to be done because people want to farm with pigs and then they don't have the experience. So I will tell you my story and how we do it and how we try to do it.
Can you just give us a background on your pig farming experience?
We started in 2017 with pigs, and we started only with 4 pigs, 3 females and 1 male. Then I bought that from family in Marmari, my hometown, that I bought their piglets. And we started, and we were going on for around 2-3 years. And then one of the people from PIC, Dr. Salias Low, came to our farm to visit with the program that we were running with the government. And they said to us that the genetics that we have is not good genetics. So we were farming and saving our money to get to the good genetics. Last year, September, we got our first pigs after we culled all the old pigs out that we had because they were getting a lot of feed, but they were not growing like we want them to grow. And the genetics wasn't good. We were getting deformities of the inbreeding where people were inbreeding into each other with the male that is related to the female, and we didn't get good results. So we did sell per kilo to a private markets, people buying and that kind of thing. And it didn't work for us because every month there's a story with people paying our money, not paying our money. So we decided from last year, December, we haven't sold any pigs yet. We're waiting for the market to clear now and or the price to go up. Then we're going to go into selling again. So we have had a lot of struggles. We have a lot of pigs that died because of the weather during the winter, being too cold, not having adequate flooring because we don't have money for the cement and that story. So we had a lot of setbacks going forward. But if you want to succeed, you must go through the struggles to get to the top. That's part of growing your business and that kind of thing. So we are now with PIC's bloodline, new genetics that we started with. We're going to sell our first piglets hopefully in November when the market has climbed a little bit so that it be profitable for us to sell. And then we're going to take that money, invest it into building new pens again. That's how we do our setup. Everything that we make, we put it back into our business.
If you can maybe provide key factors that a farmer needs to consider if they want to have a profitable breeding program, because you just shared now that previously the genetic qualities or the traits that you had, they were not good, like they were not profitable. So, and you had to cull those pigs, which is a financial loss. So what have you learned from them? Like what factors do they need to consider in terms of genetics?
It's best that you buy the best genetics and you know from a profitable breeder that has done the genetics for years. Buying from people that don't have a lineage of where the male comes from, where the female comes from, you don't know where you're going. You're going to stand in one point. So that's one point. Genetics is a good thing. And to avoid inbreeding, genetics is also good. And the other thing that makes your business profitable, if you get like waste, like scraps that you get from your kitchen and that stuff, a lot of people give their pigs stuff they like to feed on, but the pigs don't grow the optimal time of year so that it can be profitable. So that's one of the things that people must look at, the amount of feed they give their pigs, 2 kg a day, and what feed they give their pigs. But some of us can't get to that because they start-up farmers. They can't afford the big money feed that they sell, like Nova feed, Meadow feed. They can't afford it. So if they can't afford that feed, they must try to buy raw materials like rog. They can also buy corn, is also one of the biggest, also determines the prices of pigs nationally from SAPO, South African Pork Association. They determine the prices on the millis prices. So if you can get all that stuff together and make your own feed like raw materials, you can also excel, because we have done it. We bought a small concrete mixer that we can't mix a lot of concrete, but we use it to mix our feed together with the minerals, with the salt and stuff that you must add to the feed. Because if they get a lot of salt, in the old days when the people were starting with pig farming, they used to use a lot of fish meal. But because of the quality that you must give to the abattoir, the fish meal will smell in the meat. You can add fish meal, but a little amount. You can't add too much. But salt does the same thing. So pigs needs a lot of water. If they get a lot of salt, they will drink a lot of water so they can grow. And they want clean, fresh water.
So that obviously influences the genetics or the growth of the pig. Which breeds are most profitable and why? Maybe even in the South African context.
In the South African context, the stuff that the people import now to South Africa, the quality is not so good, because the fat is supposed to be 15 more fat on a piece of meat, like a chop. And if you feed too much, or you feed too much stuff that makes them fat, you will get a lot of fat on the meat. Then you get the lower grading at the abattoir. The grading is the thing that you want. The name porker, P-O-R to K, is the best grade that you get for porks. To P-O-R-K is the best grade. If it goes after K, you're getting low grade, because your quality of your meat is lower.
So on the breeding, how do you ensure high fertility rates and healthy litters if you're breeding with the pig?
If you want to ensure healthy litters and that kind of thing, it all depends on how your pen is built. Like you must have something at the back so that the pig can lie against it, like a brick. A normal Mexican brick laying on the floor at the back, or a pole at the back, so that they don't lie on top of the pigs. That's one of the things that can keep your litter big. And if you can buy ferrosuer or ferrosuer gold, very expensive to buy it, but you must inject that to the pigs 14 days before giving birth. That will ensure that your piglets' growth is higher, and also the feed that you give when it comes to a month before farrowing, before they give birth, you must give them more food so that the piglets in the mom's belly can grow bigger.
You spoke now that with injecting the piglets so that they aren't prone to diseases, but what common health issues do you monitor for?
We got the bird now, and the weather's a little bit cold now, but it's required that on the third day after birth, you must inject them iron and you must deworm them. You get Ivomix. It's a generic from other product, Detomix. Detomix is much stronger, more expensive, but it does a better work job. And the Ivomix does a good job, but you must use more of the Ivomix to get your stuff growing nicely. And piglets, there's a shortage of iron they born. So the iron section must go into the body, and the Ivomix deworm so that the worms doesn't eat their food up. So that you must also do.
So both the piglets and the mother are iron deficient after the pregnancy. That's quite interesting.
Not the mother, but the small ones. But we give the iron injection for the small pigs when they're still young. And then we just monitor them for the worms. So the worms comes every time the worms, you must inject them for the worms. And they get skin diseases also, like they get bites under their skin. Then they scratch the whole time because the Ivomix is not doing the job, or the Detomix. That's why you must spray them so their skin can be healthier. And if you farm with white pigs must have a shade on top of them because they can develop skin diseases on their skin. And the profitable pigs now, in the old days it was Landras and Great White that they mixed and they make a hybrid pig. Now the Europe has come through that there's a lot of meat on a chop because it's bigger and more robust. Europe, we using now Cannonbrock is a new kind of pig from PIC that we're using, and it all depends on what you want to do. Like people, like my friend over the road is using Speck and Ham pig. It's a little bit smaller, liquor fit, but that's the pigs for when he makes salamis and that kind of thing. For processing, he's using that pigs. But for me that wants to sell meat, I use either Great White, Landra, or Canberra. I don't want Duroc because when it comes to the abattoir, they don't want colors. They want white colors. That's the colors that they want.
Just to clarify with the sow, after she's given birth, what do you give her for postpartum recovery to make sure that she's able to have another litter? What do you do?
When she is given birth, after a month we wean them, then we take the piglets away from the mom. As soon as she's starting near to farrow, we start giving her more feed, increase her feed for that time while the piglets is by the mommy. So that after a month, then it's the Thursday that you wean. Then it's the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the Monday, they go back to the boar again. But we're thinking about now eliminating the boar because the boar eat too much feed when it doesn't mate. So we're going to go into artificial insemination.
Moving the conversation into a bit more about nutrition. You spoke about how a farmer can approach nutrition of the pigs, but how do you balance the growth rate with the meat quality? If you can go into that a bit more.
The growth rate, I was using a normal scale, a hanging scale. Then I put the small piglets in a bag just to weigh them, see how they have grown. But nutritional part, all the stuff that you want to use for pigs, you can go to a normal vet or you can go to Agrimark or corporation that sell the feed and all that stuff. They will show you what nutritional stuff you add. Like you get food doctor that you can add to the feed. Then you can get optimal growth. We use food doctor you can use. We used before other minerals that we get by Agri that they sell per bag. Then they say how much meal you must add with the other stuff. So you must do research. Like me and my wife, we lie in bed. Then I do research. Then she send me the research. She does research. That's how we educate ourselves because we have Wi-Fi to do the research or we have data. Then we search for how we're going to improve. Like when our pigs is small, maybe a month old, I took a chain, then I tied outside the pen so the chain can hang there. They like the sound of the pen playing with the chain and that makes them calm. And I play music also at the back. When I walk there, I play music for them. Then they like it.
Thank you, Roland. I'm sure also just caring for their welfare increases the meat quality. So that's probably important.
Yeah. That's why pigs, if they have a lot of stress, when you load them, their veins burst inside the meat. So when you cut the meat after slaughter, you get like burst of blood inside the meat because the pig was under stress. One of the greatest advice that somebody gave me is if you farm with pigs, and your worker works on the farm, please provide a toilet for them. Don't let them go into the field and use the field to go and do a number two. Because the feces in a human's soil is bad for the pigs because the pigs develop measles from eating the feces that you left in the soil. Mm-hmm. So toilet things that must be there so that the people can use it.
So how do you control what they are eating on the farm?
We don't do free range. We do small pens. But sometimes I give them exercise. But what they eat, they like to eat forage in the ground, like where there's plants standing, stuff that they can eat. They will eat it. Controlling them when they're outside, you must just look at them. When you go for slaughtering by the abattoir, your meat get tested to see if the quality is right. So they will pick it up. If a pig weighs over 100 kg, they will cut the pig behind the front leg. They will cut it there to test it for measles.
Quite interesting. Thank you. You already spoke about weaning and how you wean the pigs. I think you said it was a month after farrowing. So how do you know with the piglets, when are they ready for the market? How do you determine that time?
When they're ready to sell to the market, we don't sell small piglets, so I don't know that kind of thing. But mostly people were selling them for 1 month, they were selling them. But me, if I sell for 1 month, if the price is right, I will do it. But I'm not doing it because we keep our pigs for the market. If the pigs is weighing 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 kg, then it's ready for the market.
So you're looking at weight and not necessarily the time period.
No, you look at the weight. I have pigs now that was born in February. That's now near 100 kg that I'm going to sell now. So I avoid them.
I think with cows, it's slightly different in that they are also looking at what the time period after, I think probably related to the weight as well. So I was just wondering if there's a specific time period that someone can follow.
Timetable depends on what feed you give. If you can get your pigs to grow in optimal time, I could have sold my pigs now. They already ready for market, but I could have sold them last month also. But then I would have gotten less money because the market is low now, and I wouldn't get the right weight so that I can make more money. So selling earlier is a good thing sometimes, but sometimes it's also a bad thing because you must determine what is going to be the best prices that you're going to get back. I don't like selling small piglets because the prices that the people pay you, they're paying you 350 rand or 450 rand a piglet. But to get a pig to give birth, it takes around 9 months to get to when it must mate. So you start from a month old, you grow it to a year. So you can must say a year, 9 months is a year now. Then it mates, then it's a lot of money to get them to be big. Then you may wait 3 months to get them to be pregnant. Then they give birth. Then there's another month by that. So plus the 9 months, plus the 4 months, it's 12 months. It's a year that you wait for the pig to give birth. So how can you sell a piglet for 350? You must have thousands of pigs to make money with a 350 over 450. That's why we don't deal in selling small pigs. Because the money lays in if you sell big pigs on the kg.
For farmers who are more focused on breeding or selling pigs for genetics, is it then the same thing? Not to sell to the market for slaughtering, but rather to sell the piglets or boars for their genetics?
There is money in that for farmers to do that. There is money in that. But to get your genetics to be just pure genetics, your hand must be always on it. Your mind must be on it. You must keep your record keeping is one of the biggest things. You must say when the boar mated, when it's going to give birth, because you can determine that with the amount of days. It's 3 months and 14 days and 3 days that it takes for the pig to give birth. So you can calculate all your stuff and keep your records. When did you give injections? When did you do what? Because the pigs must also be tattooed. They must get your branding on, the farm's branding, the registration of the farm. That you must do, because if you don't have that stuff, you can't transport pigs. Because if the theft unit gets you, they can confiscate the stuff because you don't have papers on the stuff.
You mentioned artificial insemination, and it's that something you're looking into. How will that improve your profitability?
It will improve my profitability because I have a big boar now that I paid a lot of money for. But that boar I can only use for 2 to 3 years, because now I can only mate with the mummies that I had, the 12 sows that I have, I can mate. But next year, when I start keeping sows for breeding from the babies that was born, the boar can't mate. So then I must sell that boar and buy a new boar. But if I do artificial insemination to get the seeds to do the insemination, it's cheaper than keeping a boar on the farm.
Thank you so much to Roland Trout, a seasoned pig farmer. For more on the topic, please visit www.foodforimzansi.co.za. And that brings us to the end of this episode. Remember to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. From me, Patricia Tembo, our technical producer, Megan van der Vent, and the rest of #Team Food for Mzansi. Thank you for listening.